If you've ever stared at a rack of kayaks online and felt that knot in your stomach, will this really work for me? Or am I just tossing money into the lake? You're not alone. It's a legit worry. You want a kayak that won't tip you over the first time you paddle, that can hold your gear without turning into a float-filled sack, and that you can actually haul up the driveway without hiring a moving crew. The Brooklyn 11.0 single sit-on-top kayak claims to check all those boxes, and the link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's walk through what it actually delivers for a day out on the water and whether it's the right fit for you. First off, the biggest selling point of any beginner-friendly kayak is stability, and the Brooklyn 11.0 lives up to its name. The whole shape is wide and flat-bottomed, which means when you step in, you feel more like you're standing on a paddleboard than sitting in a narrow racing shell. For a first-timer, that means you can focus on learning proper paddling technique instead of constantly correcting a wobble. In real-world terms, I tested it on a calm lake in the early morning, and even with a full 420-pound load, 2 coolers, a tackle box, and a camera bag, the kayak stayed level. The extra width does add a little drag, so you won't be breaking any speed records, but for a leisure fisher or a family outing you'll thank yourself for that steadiness. The next practical concern most people have is storage. A lot of kayaks either skimp on space or require you to bolt on extra gear, which can be a hassle. The Brooklyn 11.0 comes with 2 dry storage hatches that sit just behind the padded seat, and a larger rear hatch that can fit a small cooler or a day trip backpack. I packed a 12-inch cooler, a waterproof dry bag, and a couple of fishing rods, and everything fits snugly without making the kayak feel top-heavy. The hatches have simple latch covers that you can open and close while still seated, which is a nice convenience when you're pulling a line out of the water and need your phone or a snack. The downside? The hatches are sealed with rubber gaskets rather than heavy-duty clasps, so if you plan on kayaking in heavy rain or shallow, debris-filled rivers, you might want to double-check that the seals stay tight. In most calm water scenarios, they'll keep your gear dry. Comfort is another often overlooked factor. The padded seat on the Brooklyn 11.0 is adjustable, allowing you to slide it forward or backward to accommodate different leg lengths. I tried it with a slightly longer torso and found that the seat could be moved forward enough to keep my knees from hitting the deck. The foam is dense enough to support a few hours of paddling without developing sore spots, yet it's not so thick that you feel cramped. One thing to keep in mind is the absence of a backrest. The design is a sight-and-top style, so you'll be leaning slightly forward while paddling. If you're prone to lower back strain, consider adding a small lumbar cushion. It's a cheap add-in that can make long days much more enjoyable. Now, about the weight and transportability. At 58 pounds, the Brooklyn 11.0 is on the lighter side for a kayak with a 420-pound capacity. That means you can lift it into a truck bed or even a roof rack without a second person, assuming you're reasonably fit. The kayak's deck comes with a set of reinforced carry handles that make it feel like a large piece of luggage rather than a hollow hull. That said, 58 pounds is still a decent lift if you're planning to hike to a launch point or store it in a tight garage. If you have a small car trunk or limited storage space, you'll need to consider the dimensions roughly 10 feet long before you commit. Who should buy this? If you're a casual fisherman who wants a stable platform that can hold your rods, a cool box, and a few personal items, the Brooklyn 11.0 is a solid candidate. It's also a good entry point for families looking to take a weekend outing on a lake where waves are minimal. The affordability relative to larger, more feature-heavy models makes it attractive for people who want a just-works kayak without spending a small fortune on high-end carbon fiber shells. On the flip side, if you're an experienced paddler chasing speed, a narrow kayak with a vole will feel more responsive. Likewise, if you often paddle in windy conditions or need a kayak that can handle choppy ocean surf, you'll likely outgrow the flat-bottom stability in favor of a more seaworthy design. Practical strengths are clear: stability for beginners, ample storage that actually works for day trips, a comfortable seat that you can adjust, and a weight that makes it reasonably portable. The kayak also comes with a paddle included, which saves you the extra step of sourcing a suitable blade. The ready-to-fish claim isn't empty either, the front.